Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Move United Inclusive Playbook announcement session, which we're so excited for as part of the 2021 Move United Education Conference. My name is Krista Rappoccio. Some of you might have had me on some of the sessions that you have been on already, but to reintroduce myself, I am the Senior Education Manager at Move United. And currently, I am sitting in the screen. I have on a black polo shirt with the Move United logo. I am in a very modern and fabulous looking virtual office with the Move United logo hanging on the background. I am a white female that uses she, her pronouns. I have blonde hair that is currently up in a ponytail. I am wearing my brown framed glasses and have pink dangly earrings on today. Before we begin, we would like to thank the Bob Woodruff Foundation for their longstanding commitment and support, allowing us to bring you this virtual opportunity after the tremendous success of the 2020 conference last year. As I mentioned, my colleague in the chat has posted a few important reminders. The first one is that this presentation is being recorded and will be accessible at a later date. To utilize the closed captioning feature, please click closed caption icon on the bottom right of the screen. And you can adjust the size and you can hide or show the subtitles there. You can also access the live transcript. Please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen to submit any questions, and we'll do our best to get to those at the end of the session, or if not, touch upon them at a later point. Do feel free to use the chat function though to introduce yourself, say hello, meet some new people. Just make sure to send your message to all panelists and attendees, and then you can interact with everyone. You can access all of the presentation materials from this week through the links provided in the chat, and I'm going to get started now. So the first thing that I want to say is just thank you for showing up today, which reaffirms your commitment to inclusion in schools, in sports, in communities, in society. And Move United over the past 2.5 years has been working on the product behind this announcement today, Move United's Inclusive Playbook. And we're really, really excited that we're officially launching this product. A lot of work has gone into the creation, the review, making sure that the product itself is accessible, that it is free, that it is widespread. And when we have taken these 2.5 years to put this product together, we've wanted to really have a product that is going to accomplish a few things. And when we're talking about the why behind the playbook, there's a lot of facts and statistics that we could refer to. One of them being that 1 in 4 people in the United States have a disability, but specifically over 3 million children in the United States, so those under 18, currently have a disability. And we know that these conversations are so important. And at Move United, we believe that in order to truly confront ignorance, we need to provide the tools and education to make inclusion a reality. So the Move United playbook ensures that all youth, and it works to make this a fundamental belief that all youth have equal opportunity to participate in sports and recreations in their schools and their communities. But it does go further than that. The playbook, as my colleague Lily will highlight in a few moments when she explains, what's in it and what comes along with it, the playbook and all of its materials, it begins the important discussions and dialogue to create change in society. Kids are willing and they're eager to have these conversations. They're curious, they're passionate, and they want to see change too. And we want to begin to create those spaces, whether you're an educator, a caretaker, professional that works in the youth or sport or parks or recreation spaces. We want to begin to allow you to facilitate these conversations. And we recognize that not everyone is comfortable themselves having these conversations. So, in order to build disability awareness, in order to have these ongoing conversations, that's where the playbook comes in. Move United believes in a world where every person, regardless of ability, is included in sport. And we wanted to make sure that this is a tool to not only share our mission, but to ultimately reach a large and wide audience. Because of that, the Inclusive Playbook and all of its materials are entirely free because we believe that access is truly important in creating an equitable society. And we want everyone to engage in this important conversation to change the narrative around disability, to provide disability etiquette tools, and to highlight important information that is not being a part of conversations currently. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Lily to show the fabulous playbook off and explain everything regarding the playbook.
Thanks, Krista. This is Lily Jagzinski from Move United, and I'm an event specialist here. I am a female Asian. I have brown hair. I'm wearing a black polo with the Move United logo on it. And then I also have a virtual background that looks like a conference room with a chair, tables, a brick wall, and then the Move United logo on the back of the wall. So I'd love to dive into some fast facts about the Inclusive Playbook. This is something that I've been personally working on for multiple years. And we couldn't have done it without everyone's help, staff, interns, reviewers, children who tested it out. So thank you for everyone's patience as we've gone through this journey. But our Inclusive Playbook is designed for kids grades kindergarten through sixth grade, or ages 5 through 12. And it's really focused to help kids with and with disabilities connect and learn more about adapted sports and disability awareness. And so what this is, it's an educational workbook, and I have it in front of my screen as well. I'm holding it up. On the cover, there is a female athlete who has a prosthetic, and she's running down the runway for a long jump. There's a Move United logo on it, and then the Inclusive Playbook on the bottom. And it was also the first picture on the screen as well. But we're really looking to educate children on disability awareness through the lens of adapted sports. And there's all types of activities with learning information and discussion prompts for teachers to use in their classrooms. Whether they're able to implement a full entire lesson, a full entire week, month of this, or they just need one instant activity. We have a lot of different activities, crossword puzzles, word searches, fill in the blanks, coloring pages that teachers can use to just teach about adapted sports. Where you can download it is at the www.moveunitedsport.org/inclusive-playbook website. And I'd love for my colleague Emily to actually type in that URL to the chat box. And so you guys are also able to then click on it and see it. So Emily, I fully appreciate that. I know I threw you a curveball a little bit. But the really cool thing about the Inclusive Playbook is you can download it on our website. It's a quick form. And you can print and distribute it at any time. So if you want to use printing money on your side, or if you have access to a printer, we encourage you to download it, and you can print as many copies as you want. But we're also really excited that we've had the opportunity to print about 8,000 copies of this tool. And so if you're interested in receiving a class set or a few sets, or just 10 copies or so, then you're able to put in that form and say, I'd love to share this with so-and-so, and this is how many copies we need. And so what we'll do then is we'll try and fulfill as much and as many as orders as we can to make sure that we're spreading it across the United States for teachers to use. And the picture on the screen is actually on page 7 of that Inclusive Playbook. And we are focusing on autism, Down syndrome, and learning disabilities. We give some fun facts about that. And then the activity is a brain maze. So it's just a maze in the shape of a brain, just as a fun activity for them to do. And then there's some talking points at the end. And so each page is really exciting. They're all quite very different. In the book that I'm holding up right now, there's pictures of athletes and quotes. There's a fun connect the dots type of activity. So plenty of things to take a look at once you actually download that tool. Additionally, we know that this Inclusive Playbook is not something that every teacher is able to look at and say, absolutely, I know exactly what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. And so we've created a suite of additional materials to help teachers implement this into their classroom. And so the Inclusive Playbook is actually the whole entire booklet itself. I believe it's about 24 pages front and back of each page. But we've also included an inclusive playmat. And so the playbook itself, we really are recommending grades 3 through 6 to use it. And the inclusive playmat is a front and back black and white sheet of paper. It's included in the playbook too, but that's more for a younger demographic, that it's still learning tips, but it's a little bit watered down of the inclusive playbook itself. And you can think of that similar to if you go to a restaurant and you just need a quick activity for your kids to do while you're waiting for your food. That's what we've kind of created. We've also worked on some accessible versions of the Inclusive Playbook too. So we have a large print Word document that teachers are able to use, and then they can manipulate the font size for whatever their kids' needs are. We are working on a Braille version as well, in the sense we'll have a final copy for any trainings that we complete. But you can also take the screen reader version and produce it and put it into a Brailler, so that they can emboss everything and use it for their kids. We're also super excited to have this instructional guide or curriculum guide that it is everything a teacher would need to be able to take the Inclusive Playbook and push it into their classrooms. So a Dear Educator letter, standards, we have worksheets, PowerPoints, lesson plans. We have 8 full lesson plans that teachers can use. So they're fully able to be prepared and teach everything that they want to. And of course, teachers are always able to kind of pick and choose what they'd like to do. And so we give you that flexibility. We give you all these tools that you can then choose how you want to teach it and implement it into your classroom. We also are super excited about some book suggestions. We've recently connected with some authors, over on social media, or books that we've found in the past. And we've provided some book suggestions for you if you want to take it even a step further and engage and have them read further things, then we've provided that list. We have purchased VR goggles. They're cardboard, and that we're excited to send out to classrooms as well. We have some videos already on our website, but we're looking to build on top of that entire suite of VR goggles. So someone is able to then go onto our website, take an adapted sport video, and see what it feels like to play wheelchair basketball or bocce, or go around a track on a wheelchair racing chair. So we're hoping to have those within the next year or so to build in. And we recently just purchased some additional classroom goodies, highlighters, pencils, flash drives, all with the Move United brand. So teachers are able to implement this whole entire bundle into their class, and kids have what they need. On the screen on the far left side is a picture of our virtual reality goggles. It has the Move United patchwork colors of light blue, dark blue, red, white, pink. In the middle, it is a picture of our inclusive playmat where there's a connect the dots, tic-tac-toe, word search, and then even some coloring of service animals. And then on the far right side, we have a picture of one of our lesson plans that focuses on disability awareness. Now I'd like to pass it over to Krista.
Thanks, Lily. Some really great questions in the Q&A, and I will answer these in a moment. But just for everyone that hasn't looked over there, there's some links that have been answered in the questions that I would encourage everyone to go click into, and we'll pop those into the chat as well. But coming back onto the screen to talk about one of the programs and exciting things that came out of the delay of launching the Move United Inclusive Playbook. So we were originally supposed to launch this product in October of 2020. And because of the pandemic and the situation with schools across the country, we didn't want to create additional burden to educators and to those working with youth and kids that had their spaces disrupted. So we held off. And what came out of that has been another tremendous kind of success and celebration, which is the formation of the Inclusion Champion program. So the Inclusion Champion program is a collection of organizations and individuals who support the Move United Inclusive Playbook, believe in its mission, and help share the playbook within their networks. So the playbook, we had this awesome opportunity where it not only fuels conversation as a product itself, but it brings people together as a part of this movement, as a part of this network. And the playbook in itself, has been reviewed by our champions. It's been kind of celebrated, and our playbook and our champion program are a further step in making inclusion a reality. Top reasons to become an inclusion champion. So of course, you're now a part of the inclusion movement to reach a more diverse group of Americans. As society is focused on shifting the narratives around a lot of social justice movements, it's important that we keep the disability community a part of that narrative and ongoing conversation. And as more, organizations to corporations to individuals want to know where to get started, this is a great way to express that commitment to being in a place where you're ready to get started. It also demonstrates publicly your commitment to inclusion. You receive an inclusion champion toolkit, you get a specific logo to host on your website. And you, as a part of this inclusion champion network, you receive access to free adaptive sports education resources, online resources. We as Move United will promote our inclusion champions across our larger network. There's opportunities for collaboration and partnership on an ongoing basis. There's quarterly newsletters involved. So we've been able to create this entire network, and it's really exciting to announce our first cohort of champions, many of which have signed on and joined us. We have a special guest that is going to introduce herself in a moment. But if you are one of our champions, please feel free to, raise your hand in the feature or kind of give a little reaction so that everyone else can recognize who you are. We're very, very grateful for our champions. And I'd like to just highlight who our first cohort of organization champions are. The logos are displayed on the screen as well. So I'm going to read them off the screen from left to right. So our first inclusion champion is USA Archery, USTA, NYSS champion is a part of HHS, Girls on the Run, NCYS, True Sport. Going to the second row of logos, we have NAYS, National Alliance for Youth Sports, PSIA, AASI, USA Cheer, USA Boxing, USA Football, and USA Para Powerlifting. And then our bottom row, we have Win-Win Consulting, the Chris Norton Foundation, and Look Mom No Hands Foundation. And these champions are a part of our first cohort that we're so grateful for. They will be releasing all of their social assets and their inclusion champions and their toolkit and press release next week. So be sure to follow them and watch what they're doing in their spaces as well. But we really couldn't make this all happen without this larger community. There are opportunities for our members to become involved, for different organizations and other folks to get involved as well. We have an upcoming meeting next week on Wednesday evening, if you're a member, just to put that out there for you to learn more about the commitment as a member inclusion champion. And I'm going to pass it back to Lily to talk about one other area of champions before we have our guest speaker give a little bit of an overview as well.
Thanks, Krista. Another group of people that we recognize are big names in the space are authors, social media influencers, and celebrities. And so I've had the pleasure to do some research along with some of my team members to contact these people and ask, would you support the Inclusive Playbook? Would you use it in some capacity? And would you share it within your space? And so most recently, we had an author, her name is Amy Webb, and she's a picture on the far left side with her 3 children. And she just recently received her Inclusive Playbook. You can catch it on the Move United Instagram. She did an unboxing moment, which was fantastic. And what she did is she wrote a book called When Charlie Met Emma. And I highly recommend you take a look at it. It's a really nice book, and we appreciate her being supportive of the Inclusive Playbook. I've also talked to some YouTube celebrities, Shane Burkott and Hannah Aylward. And most recently, Chris Norton. He is the star of the 7 Yards, the Chris Norton story on Netflix. And all of these people, as well as multiple others, most recently have contacted us, and they are also supporting the Inclusive Playbook. So we appreciate their help to share our message. If this is something that you're interested in, we have started a list additionally on our website of additional inclusion champions, and you can see that they're written. If they didn't have a logo, then they just wanted to put their name on it. And what's really cool too is I have my phone in front of me and I'm getting all of your download requests already of people who are downloading the Inclusive Playbook right now. So thank you very much for all of that. It's super exciting. And what I'd love to do is pass it over to our special guest. Her name is April Massett from Girls on the Run. And April, I turn it over to you to talk further about our Inclusion Champion program.
Thank you so much, Lily, and thanks to Move United for having us with you today. Hello, everyone. My name is April Massett. My pronouns are she and hers. I am a Black woman. I wear glasses and typically a smile. Today, I'm wearing a gray sweater because it's cool here. I am sitting in my home office with a small decorative shelf on the wall behind me. I work as a council development director at Girls on the Run International, and my role in establishing program alliances brings me here today with you to celebrate the release of the Move United's Inclusive Playbook. The first point next to the star on this slide shares what Girls on the Run is. Girls on the Run is a PAPYD, which means physical activity, positive youth development program, which incorporates life skill discussions, games, and movement to help girls feel healthy, joyful, and confident, and to have fun while growing in confidence and connection to others. Girls on the Run serves girls in 3rd through 8th grades in out of school time programs at schools, at parks and green spaces, rec centers, places of worship, and other community locations. Girls on the Run serves all girls of all backgrounds, all demographics, and all abilities. For some years now, Girls on the Run has partnered with National Center on Health, Physical Activity, and Disability, or NCPAD, to improve program access and experience for our girls and coaches with disabilities. The second starred point on the slide shares that our efforts to ensure accessible and inclusive programs include looking at how we develop curriculum, improving coach training and support so our volunteer coaches have what they need to make adjustments necessary for all girls to fully participate, and to improve our messaging and communications. Like this image on the screen that shows a girl in a wheeled walker crossing the finish line with her running buddy. We want to ensure everyone knows that every girl and every volunteer is valued at Girls on the Run. So we are so proud to be an inclusive play champion. The third starred point reflects our organization's values alignment with Move United's, celebrating uniqueness, being a friend that includes, and maintaining a healthy climate where everyone can work to reach their personal best and limitless potential. Move United has made our Girls on the Run at Home kits available to girls across the country. Thank you for that. And it really just helps to ensure that girls stay active even as they've been largely at home over this past year. So we are so excited to share the Inclusive Playbook across our national network of councils. Councils will make the playbook available to their volunteers, who are educators, who are parents, who are community members, and to our girls and their families. And the information and activities within will help fight ignorance or stereotypes or uncertainties start conversations, prompt action, and just change behaviors to level the playing field on Girls on the Run teams across the country. The last start point shares that the playbook will help program sites and coaches and participants work together to ensure an inclusive environment and healthy experience for all girls. And really, we cannot wait to share this amazing resource, and we're so grateful to be part of this movement. Thanks, Lily.
Thank you very much, April. I will turn it back over to Krista.
Thank you. So we're coming to the close. This 30 minutes flew by as we anticipated. But for those of you that are in our attendees today, how can you get involved? There's a bunch of ways that you can get involved right now and join this movement of building inclusive spaces at this current moment right now. So the first, as Lily has already mentioned, many of you have taken advantage of, is to head over to our website. I just dropped the hyperlinked link in the chat towards the bottom here. And towards the bottom of the page, you can request your copies or download your copies, whether you prefer digital or hard copies of the playbook. Definitely encourage others to implement this tool into their classrooms, into their sports teams, into their communities. I'd like to take this moment just to emphasize that this entire product started with the idea of building these conversations in classrooms, but it's grown much larger than that. There's really no setting that isn't applicable to having these conversations if you work with children. So whether you're a family member, whether you are a caretaker, a summer camp counselor, an after-school caregiver, you work in a sport or youth or recreation club or company, this is just a phenomenal tool that can help fuel conversation. So definitely encourage everyone to request their copy since it is free and entirely accessible across the world. Reshare any social media posts that you see come across to help spread the message with your networks if you're a larger organization. Later on in the summer and fall, we're going to give out some information regarding other inclusion products that are coming out of Move United Education, including the Inclusive Sports Fundamentals and our inclusion trainings, which will be available. And definitely join the Inclusion Champion program and become part of this second and third cohort of organizations and individuals. We want this product and really what it represents to have sustainability. We have plans for the future on how to keep this going and build it and continue to grow and foster and care for these really important kind of conversations and activities and learning moments. So there are so many ways that you can get involved, and just feel free to pick one to start if you don't know where to begin. On the next screen is our contact information. So if you are interested in finding out more, you have specific questions, please feel free to get in touch with us through any of these mechanisms. So the email address, education@moveunitedsport.org, will take you directly to our department. Of course, the link that has been in the chat this whole time, but it's here again on the screen, will take you to our page regarding the Inclusive Playbook. We do have an exciting change coming up to that page, and we'll be sure to share that out with everyone once that's ready to go at the end of this month. My office phone number is listed here, and of course, if you are big on social media, you can get in touch with us through any of these handles. You'll also see that Move United will be posting about the Inclusive Playbook all next week, kind of as a little takeover. So be sure to check that all out. Before we close, because I know we have like 1 minute left, there was just some questions that came through the Q&A that I'm going to try to really quickly just mention. So David asked if we could provide the reference for the statistic reference at the beginning of this conversation. So I did also drop that link into the chat that comes directly from the census data. We had another question about the recording being available. This particular session will be available on YouTube starting early next week at the latest. Our other sessions will be a little different, but because this is our big announcement, it'll be publicly available quickly for everyone to send out and replay. And we also have some questions about how to become a champion, which is great. And like I said, just send that email address here on the screen, a quick note, and we'll have a team member get in touch with you. But that brings us to 11:30. Lily, yes, go ahead.
Yes, and a plug for this afternoon as well. We are doing an additional workshop and it still has some availability in there. And so if you're interested in the Inclusive Playbook workshop where we dive into further supplemental materials, then please feel free to sign up for it. If you have any questions and you don't understand how to sign up for it, you can contact, I'm sorry, Kayla Hammaker, you can contact her, or you can also send literally anyone an email and they'll get it to the right place. But you can use your email address and the confirmation number you received for your registration to get into that session. We're super excited about that one. Thanks, Krista. That's all I had.
Thanks, Lily. At this time, we would love to, close up. I know there's still some questions coming through, so we'll have somebody connect with you all through through an email or a follow-up. But we'd just like to take this moment to thank April and Lily again for joining me this morning, for joining Move United as we make this amazing announcement for our very exciting new product. Particularly if you learned something today, which is all about the playbook, and want to share out about the playbook, please stay involved throughout today and tomorrow and next week by sharing your excitement, tagging Move United, and using the hashtag Move United. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we're looking forward to working together and staying in touch. Take care.